What's up, YouTube? It's like 5:30 in the fucking morning. Let me get my light, man. All right. There we go. The lights. We have lights. It's like 5:30 in the fucking morning, Saturday fucking morning. I don't even know what the date is. January. It's like it's the middle of January or end of January, something like that. 2019. Yeah, so anyways, I grew up in Fairfield County, Connecticut, and I'm actually in Daytona, Florida right now. And I grew up in Fairfield County, Connecticut, which is the same county Newtown and Sandy Hook and all that ridiculous false flag bullshit is in. It's all rich people. It's fucking dirtbag rich people, backstabbing rich people. That's what it is. It's the biggest bunch of phony rich people on the planet. The people wouldn't give you a drink of water if you were working on their yard. It's all Democrat controlled. And basically, if you're a white male and you're working class, like you're blue collar, you're fucked. Because the fucking spicks, the fucking wetbacks, gonna take every job you ever applied for. And they work for nothing. And the Democrat rich people love it. They cater to them fucking low life wetback scumbag motherfuckers. I'd say Connecticut is on par with New Jersey because I went to New Jersey and lived there in northern New Jersey for about 2 years working for a paving company. It ain't even a paving company. Some dude that has a a rinky-dink homeowner paving company. That's how I would describe it. So yeah, Connecticut is every bit as bad as New Jersey with the Democrat controlled and the fucking wetbacks taking over every fucking part of your life and overpopulating the fucking place with their 10 retarded kids and their ugly bitch fucking spick wife and everything else. So, anyways, let me describe the Connecticut court system. Well, where I got arrested was in Norwalk, Connecticut. I also got arrested in Torrington, Connecticut. I was harassed nonstop from 2014 to mid 2015 because at the time I lived in a van, a Dodge van. I had a 1997 Dodge window van, which just looks like an old church van, and it didn't have tinted windows in it, so the scumbags could see me in it sleeping. So uh, I was an over the road truck driver at the time because I was coming out of the bad economy from 2007 when there was no excavating construction work around. So I was bouncing back and forth from excavating jobs to trucking jobs because there's not much work around and all the wetbacks took all the jobs. So the last company I worked for was Western Express, and I got hurt in a blizzard fixing a light cord. The cord that goes from the tractor to the trailer was broken, and I lost the lights at 3 o'clock in the morning in a blizzard in Allentown, Pennsylvania. So I was on the back of the truck, the tractor trailer, trying to fix the cord to see if it was loose or whatever, and to get the lights back because you can't drive it with no trailer lights. And I fell off the truck and I woke up underneath the truck. I got knocked out for like 20 minutes, 15 minutes or something. I woke up underneath the parked truck in the blizzard. And I have pictures on the internet. I had two black eyes. My head swelled up. I had a bad concussion. I had a concussion so bad that the doctors in Norwalk, when I went back to Norwalk, wouldn't let me drive a vehicle for 2 months. So commercial vehicles. So uh, before I got the doctor's okay. So I had a van because I was driving the truck, living in the tractor trailer, doing like regional, which means you drive all over the East Coast. And I had my van in storage in Norwalk, Connecticut, which I'm originally from, and I was paying 200 or 250 a month for one slot to park at a self storage place on Boughton Street in Norwalk, Connecticut. And it was still registered, it was insured, I was paying all that, and I would never use it. So when I got hurt, I went back to Norwalk. Western Express fucked me. That over $3,000 hospital bills and a bunch of scumbags wouldn't pay nothing. I don't recommend anybody work for them bunch of crooks. And they have some weird laws. That's why Western Express is based out of Tennessee, because Tennessee has worse laws than Florida, so they could fuck over the employees and not give them no health insurance and fuck them out of when they get hurt and everything else. It's some of the worst laws in the whole country on the employees. That's why they're based out of Tennessee, Western Express. So I don't recommend nobody move to that fucking dirtbag state of Tennessee. So unless you want to bend over and get fucked. So uh, a long story short, so 2014 I went back to Norwalk. Now I got, I believe, four brothers and three brothers and a sister, and one of them fucking lowlifes even talked to me. Let me see, two brothers. I have two younger brothers and one sister. Now the sister is a real estate agent, and she also her main job is she works for a company in Manhattan, an insurance company. Okay, she's rich. She married some rich asshole and lives in Rowan, which is on the salt water. My younger brother, the middle brother, he's only a couple years younger than me. He's a millionaire. He owns a excavating and a tree care company in Norwalk, Connecticut, and he's a fucking scumbag, low life motherfucker. He's a fucking pedophile, or been in jail for like prison for like 4 years for being a pedophile for statutory rape, and then who knows what else. He's tried to kill me 3 times already. Fuck that scumbag. If he ever tried to do it, and I ain't even gonna comment on that. But whatever. If he ever tries to do it again, he got something coming, boy. I'll tell you that. So, anyways, he's a wetback loving Democrat. All he does is hire wetbacks. My youngest brother, all these people I ain't talked to in over 12, 15 years, 10 years, something like that. I ain't seen them forever. I don't even want to see them. That's what, it ain't even a family. So, my youngest brother, he works in Stamford, Connecticut. He married some bitch that her father owns the biggest nursery in Stamford, Connecticut, and he runs the whole place. And he don't know shit. He's a stupid motherfucker. He don't know nothing. A snotty ass rich kid is what he is. Lives in a $450,000 house and he works in a nursery. Everything's in the bitch's name because her mother and father own everything. And whatever. So the fucking pigs harassed me nonstop. I have some pictures on the internet of what went on. And if I had video camera at the time of what went on, I would have had all my cases thrown out. I could have sued the police department because I got harassed nonstop by Norwalk and Wilton Police Department. And then it went as far as I was driving 45 minutes to an hour away from that area to park in Danbury, Connecticut. And then it didn't matter where I went, every police department, because they would let them know, like through their union hall. And every police department I went into, I got harassed in all of lower Fairfield County, Connecticut. It was that ridiculous. So like it was so bad. Like every night I would park at 24-hour Walmart or regular Walmart or Home Depots, and the fucking police would pull in there, and they would surround me like with at least 2 cars every time, sometimes up to 8, 9 cars, and they would surround me at night in the fucking place, and they would go search my van illegally. They never found any drugs or nothing in the van. They could never find it was unregistered or nothing. And then they would just harass me. They'd leave all their spotlights on me and blind me. They'd put fucking strobe lights on like they're pulling a major criminal over or something. So the whole city would think like I'm a major crook. That's why they kept doing it. And they would come up with bulletproof vests on, and they'd fucking stick guns in my face. I can't believe I wasn't fucking killed, because when they keep waking you up, this would go on like 7, 8 times a night, every night, 7 days a week. So I would get constantly pulled over. I would get harassed in the parking lots. You never get any sleep, is what goes on. You never get any sleep, because if it's freezing, it was all during the winter too, a lot of it. And if you're freezing in the van, like I had a portable heater with me, a propane heater to keep me alive in the van, and that kept running out of the little propane tank. So half the time you have the ration at night. Like if you got one propane tank, it only lasts an hour and 10 minutes or something. So you'd have to wait till like 4 o'clock in the morning to use it, because it dropped below zero. It's so fucking cold, and it gets even colder at 4 o'clock in the morning than it does throughout the night, and it's still freezing. So I like be wrapped up in blankets and sweaters, and I'd be like fucking frozen. And these motherfuckers would be banging on my window all night, all hours of the night, getting me up, getting me out of the van, freezing fucking cold. Oh, we're gonna search your van again, sticking guns in my face. And this, after they do this for 2 months, you just lose your temper, and they wake you up like about the eighth time that night, and you're like, "What the fuck do you want, motherfucker?" And as soon as you do that, you lose your cool. Then they're gonna shoot you, or they're gonna fucking arrest you for like, they felt threatened and all this shit, and that's what they want to do. So they kept doing that to me. Like I'd go to Walmart, sleep for an hour, they'd wake me up, and then they'd say you're not parking here. And the town is the city of Norwalk, Connecticut, has a lot of minorities. They have a lot of black bastard motherfucking scumbag cops, and they have their own gang. The police have a gang of black cops that are on the night shift. And these bunch of motherfucking cocksuckers don't like white people, and they harassed me nonstop. And they would tell you can't park in this side of Norwalk. You got to leave. And they would follow you and make you leave the parking lot. So I would drive down the street to like a laundromat. I'd go in the laundromat, and I would even bring clothes in the laundromat. And then the cop would come and say, "You can't park here. You got to leave." And I say, "No, my clothes are in the no. You got to leave. If you don't leave now, I'm gonna arrest you." And I say, "The motherfucker, my clothes is in there. Well, you better take them down and leave. You got 5 minutes. Go." And he sits there watching with the spotlight on you and his gun on you. That's how fucking corrupt the city of Norwalk, Connecticut is. And I said, "It's a 24-hour Walmart. I got every right to. It's like communism. No, you don't. Get the fuck out of here now." Then he follows you up the road, so you drive to the town line. Then you go to the next town, which is a ridge town, like where David Letterman lived, New Canaan, Connecticut. And then they harass you and tell you got to leave. So then you drive back to Norwalk, and you go the other side of Norwalk, like from West Norwalk to East Norwalk, and you go to that Walmart. And then as soon as you're there 5 minutes, here comes the cops pull in, and it's a different it's a different gang of cops, because they're on the other side of Norwalk, and they come in and harass you with three at a time, telling you got to leave. We're gonna arrest you, sticking guns in your face. And this goes on and on and on and on for fucking almost 2 years. This went on, so I never got any sleep, and I just burned a lot of gas driving all over the place. And around mid 2014, the fucking scumbag minority motherfucking lowlifes running Connecticut in the government of Connecticut, they turned around and made a law so the cops could get away with it, because they said if you're homeless, it's illegal. It's illegal to be homeless in Connecticut. So I start picking up arrests. They would arrest me for breach of peace. They arrested me for a breach of peace, for crimes I did not even do. I was like broke down with my van in the road, and some fucking spick, some fucking wetback is behind me, and I'm flagging traffic. About 50 cars go by me, and the spick won't go by me. She drove right up to my bumper, and she's blowing a horn at me. So I finally got out of the van, and I said, "Bitch, you gotta fucking," I didn't even say bitch, I was nice about it. I said, "Lady, you gotta go around me. I'm broke down. I got somebody coming to tow me off the road right now. I can't move." I says, "I'm flagging traffic. There's no one coming the other way. You can go." "I'm not moving. I'm not moving." In her spick language, she's telling me, whatever you fucking spick, wetback. So she won't move. She won't go around me. And then this went on for like 20 minutes. So she kept blowing a horn, blowing a horn. So finally I took my phone out and I said, I'm just going to call the police on you. I said, you're harassing me. So I took her license plate number. I took my phone. I took a picture of it. And then all of a sudden tried to call 911. I couldn't get no service. There's no service on my phone because I was right on the Wilton Norwalk line, and Wilton, Connecticut don't have any service because they don't have any cell towers because the rich people think it's an eyesore where they live. So somehow the bitch got service, or she went down to the police department when she finally left. And a month and a half later, I'm working on an excavating construction job on a gas line, making $1,000 a week driving a dump truck, and it's prevailing wage job. And a cop comes up to me, one of these corrupt cops flagging for the flagging traffic for the gas company. Tells me, "Oh well, you better turn yourself in tomorrow because you got a warrant." I said, "What do you mean I got a warrant? Warrant for what? I ain't no criminal. What are you talking about? I'm working like 70 hours a week here. What are you talking about? I got a warrant." Oh, you better call this guy, and it's some spick cop Rodriguez, or I don't even know if that's his name, but it's some, I don't remember, but it's some spick name. And I fucking call this fucking wetback spick cop up, and he tells me, "Oh, yo," in this broken fucking English, that he can't hardly speak English, that I have a warrant for that lady called that was behind me blowing a horn at me and said that she felt threatened and all this. So they arrested me. And then when I went to court, the court had the nerve to tell me, "Well, we thought you knew her, like you had a relationship with her." I said, number one, I would have no relationship with no fucking spick. And number two, I don't know the bitch. I don't even have a girlfriend right now. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So, oh, well, it doesn't matter. Well, you got arrested, blah blah blah. So I'm going back and forth to court out on bond. It cost me over $1,000 bond, and it cost me like $200, whatever the 10% was. So I'm going back and forth to court. I already got arrested, turned myself in, put me in handcuffs. And when they arrested me, the corrupt cop, his name is uh, is that Mark Suda. That's one of the fucking dirtbags arrested me. That motherfucker's at the jail, the local jail in Norwalk, Connecticut, the police department. He's mouthing off to me because he's a little short punk motherfucker that they made a detective in like a year because his daddy got him the job there. He's the most corrupt cop in the whole fucking city. So he's well known throughout the prison system for planting evidence too and abusing prisoners. So this fucking cocksucker is there, and he's mouthing off to me and this and that. Like he's a big tough guy. He's a little short guy. I can't wait till I read some prisoner beat the fucking shit out of him, or he wound up assaulted or whatever happened to him on the side of the road, and then I'm gonna laugh my motherfucking balls off. I'll laugh my ass off when when somebody finally he fucks with the wrong person. He gets what comes to him because he's the most corrupt cop on the whole police department. So, anyways, uh, he's there, and he's doing my fingerprint, and he's mouthing off to me, and finally, he just told me you're a fucking punk faggot or whatever I told him, and he goes, "That's it, I'm locking you into prison," and he put me like in a jail cell that looks like you're going in a bank vault, like that's how ridiculous it's over. It's overmade the prison cell. It's so ridiculous. Like they think they're holding like King Kong in the prison cell. It's so ridiculous. It looks like a bank vault, and they put me in there. And 5 minutes later, my bondsman guy showed up and bonded me out. And uh, a month and a half later, I went to court, and I'm going back in court in Norwalk. Is ridiculous. They want you to go back and forth to court about fucking 50 times over 6 months. So I'm going back and forth to court. When you go to the courthouse, there's no place to park at all. They're giving you tickets, towing your car. You got to park like 10 miles away and take a taxi to where you're going to court. There's no place to park. The courthouse is overcrowded. You go there, it's the most racist court you ever want to go to in Norwalk, Connecticut. It's all geared to be racist against the poor people and the blue collar working people and the rich people, and the rich kids walk every time. And they say right in court, the lawyers have the nerve to say to the judge, and they agree with it, the court system. They says, "Well, Mr. So and So or Mr. So and So Jr. with his rich mommy and daddy standing there with his fucking lawyer that costs like 20 grand. They says, Mr. So and so is going to such and such university, and Mr. So and so is has a bright career and this and that, and a bright future and this and that. He don't want to tarnish you getting a felony. And the guy he might have got caught with cocaine and heroin or whatever the fuck he did. He robbed the store while he was drunk. They don't care. They don't put any of those people in prison. They don't do nothing. They don't even half the time. They don't even give them probation. They let them walk scot free. Here's a fine. It's that ridiculous. And then the rich people walk every time, and the poor people or the blue collar working people, they fuck them. They have zero tolerance for anything, and that's at the most minorest crime. That's it. You're going to prison. That's how ridiculous the state of Connecticut is. It has a three strikes law too, like California does, where they put you in prison for life. Only instead of putting you in prison for life, it's called the habitual offender law. And I've met people in state prison that were homeless and got arrested because they went to the homeless center, and that's a whole nother video. They won't let you in, and the whole process to get the intake done to get in the homeless center is totally ridiculous. Where they make you go to another part of Connecticut, like outside your county, like 50 miles away to go do the intake, and then the bitch tells you we're only open 2 days a week at certain times of the day, and if you don't come at that appointment, that's it. You got to wait for another 2 weeks to make appointment to tell you which homeless center to go to. So the homeless people just go to their local homeless center, whichever one they're in, whatever town they're in, and then they tell them, no, you're not allowed in here, and they throw them out, even if it's the dead of winter. That's how fucking ridiculous the state of Connecticut is. So they don't give the homeless people at all any help. The only ones that give help to are the black ones, because the black motherfuckers are the ones running the homeless centers, so they're racist and they only help the black people. So so they throw them out on the sidewalk, and then the cops come and arrest them for trespassing because they're laying on the sidewalk in front of the homeless center. And I met a million of them in prison. They're being locked up in prison, and like in Osborne prison I was at for my misdemeanors. And every one of them, they get arrested for trespassing at the homeless center, laying on the sidewalk because they won't let them in the homeless center. They automatically give them 4.5 months in prison, in state prison. And the reason they're doing this is so that way they give them a record, a felony, and then uh, even if it's a misdemeanor, because that goes on your habitual offender record. And if you get arrested three more times within like 4 years, it's like 3 or 4 years. If you get arrested three more times, even on misdemeanors, that's it. You're considered habitual offender. You're going to prison for 10 years. So that's what kind of communist laws they have in Connecticut. They locked me up. What I did is I said, fuck them. I got arrested for that bitch that said she felt threatened in the traffic incident. And then I went to the Torrington, Connecticut hospital in a blizzard to get, meds, psych meds. And I went there to get psych meds, and they kept me overnight for observation. I showed them a record. No, not a criminal record, but, of my meds, and they wouldn't give me the fucking meds. They give me nothing, and they kept telling me there's nothing wrong with you. And I said, "You're not even a doctor. You did an intake on me and kept me in a fucking bed. This is on the side of the emergency room. That kind of ward is on the side of the emergency room, but it ain't in the emergency room. It's like a high security. You're locked into place. So they put me in there, and then they did observation on me all night, and then they're telling me at like waking me up at like 5 o'clock in the morning after I've been up all night in that place. They're telling me when I just went to sleep, they wake me up, tell me, well, you're being discharged, you could be released. It's a fucking blizzard outside. Torrington, Connecticut is up in the mountains, and I'm driving a two-wheel drive 15-year-old van. I said, there's no way I'm leaving. I said, it's a fucking blizzard outside. I'll get killed on these big, huge mountains in Torrington. My van will be destroyed. I'll be stuck. I says, and you didn't even give me any meds. You fucking did nothing. You watched me overnight. I finally went to sleep and slept an hour, and then you woke me up telling me I gotta leave. And I had state insurance at the time. You charged the state insurance probably like 3 grand for me to be there overnight. You did absolutely nothing. I said, so, you need to do whatever, keep me there. You're weak, and give me the meds like most places do. And he's like, no. She's like, no, we're not doing that. You're being released. And then I got a little uppity, and I started to like get a little upset. And the next thing I know, they called security on me, and some old guy that's 70 years old shows up, and he pushes me into the wall, and he fucking pushes me so hard my back hits a shelf on the wall and it breaks the shelf. A small little shelf that looks like it's like two strips of wood, like pine wood or whatever it is, with like a brace holding it to the wall. That's the shelf. It's literally look like you could buy it in Home Depot, like a homeowner thing, do it yourself for like you put a flower pot on it, like you could buy it for like $20. And then they arrested me. They had three Torrington cops come in and beat the living fuck out of me, dragged me to the police station with a hospital gown on in 0-degree weather, and then they tried to threaten me. They tried to give me three or four charges. I said, "You're out of your fucking mind, dude. You're out of your fucking mind. What charges?" And they said, "Oh, breach of peace, uh, threatening, and some other shit." I said, "You're out of your fucking mind. What's threatening?" He says, "Well, you said you wanted to kill yourself." I said, "What the fuck? You see where I'm locked up? They're supposed to help you, give you meds." "Oh, well, you could be arrested for that." I said, "You're out of your fucking mind, dude." So they finally didn't give me that charge, and then he says, "Well, we're gonna arrest you for breach of peace and then some other fucking charge." And then I was lucky. He gave me my released me on my own recognizance, and I told him, "Now your cop could drive me back with the hospital gown on because I'm gonna freeze to death." Because the hospital from here is like about a 25-minute walk in the freezing cold. It's 0-degree weather out, and I still got a hospital gown on, no clothes. I said, "So I need a ride back." So he calls the cop to give me a ride back, and the cop's giving me a ride back. And then his buddy stops him in the road, another cop going the other way with two assholes in the car. And this fucking cops tell him, "Fuck that asshole, just let him out of the car and make him walk." That's the mentality of these fucking low lives in fucking Connecticut that are give them all this power, and they're the most fucking corrupt cops ever. They're making $70,000, $80,000 a year being a cop, and they're the most corrupt scumbag motherfuckers on the planet. Okay, and then I had those two charges, and they're telling me I'm going back and forth to court. They're telling me they want me to pay the hospital $300 for the shelf. I said, "I ain't paying the fucking hospital nothing. You're lucky I don't sue the hospital. I'm not paying them dick." "Okay, well, Mr. Lato, you're gonna have to pay a fine and pay the hospital restitution and all this." I ain't paying nothing. And finally, I just said, "Fuck the court system," and I left. And I went to New Jersey and I worked for a paving outfit, cash, for like 2 years. The guy I was working for kept running out of work, kept running out of work, and he wanted me to do all kinds of legal shit for him, like getting rid of like illegal loads on the truck of asphalt and all kinds of crazy shit. And he don't want to pay nothing. So this went on and on and on with this cheap fuck from New Jersey. And then finally, his truck kept breaking down. At the time, I was living in his triaxle dump truck. He has a big triaxle dump truck as big as a Mack dump truck, and I was living in the front seat lane across the front seat at night in a Walmart parking lot in northern New Jersey. So this went on and on and on, and then the truck kept breaking down. Then he's trying to blame me on the truck breaking down, and the clutch went in about the fourth to third time, and he had to have the truck towed. And I said, "Well, now I need your other truck to live in the parking lot in." And he's telling me, because when I lived in New Jersey for 2 years, I had taken two rents, two apartments. They were like 600, 650 a month. And that's a whole new video I would tell you on it, because all the wetbacks own all the houses in northern New Jersey. The wetbacks don't want to live with no white people. They only want to live with wetbacks. So the wetbacks are the most racist, prejudiced people you can meet, especially northern New Jersey. Dover, New Jersey is the biggest fucking wetback fucking shithole. It looks like you're in fucking living in Mexico, and they own all the businesses, they own all the houses, the wetbacks, and the wetbacks hate the white people, most racist people on the planet. And so it didn't last the rent because they only want you in when they can't find a wetback to live in the house, and then you live in the house in your one bedroom for 650 a month with nothing, no TV, nothing, 650 a month. And I did that for a couple months, and then all of a sudden, as soon as the wetback comes and wants the apartment, that's it. They move you right the fuck out for no reason at all because they want the wetback living with them. So that went on and on. Then the guy's truck kept breaking down. I was living in his dump truck. That kept breaking down. And when that finally broke down the third time, he had to have it towed. He's telling me, I'm just going to leave you in the parking lot. After I worked for this guy for almost 10 years, off and on. So I said, oh, yeah, you're going to leave me in the parking lot? So I called a local pot dealer and I told the guy I need a ride to Connecticut, turn myself in. And I've been telling him about this, like negotiating a deal to get him to drive me there for like over 2 months. And I could never get him to really do it. But I told him I'll give you $400. And the guy's like, well, I don't know, my girlfriend, blah, 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 blah. So finally he took him and his spit girlfriend and he fucking drove me to Stamford, Connecticut in a pouring rainstorm in the freezing cold in in the summer of 2017. It was right at the beginning of summer. And I had to walk 30 miles in the pouring rain with a big garbage bag of clothes. I finally couldn't carry no more and left out of church. I had to walk from Stamford, Connecticut to Westport, Connecticut, turn myself in because one warrant was out of Norwalk, and I didn't want to go to Norwalk because they'll beat the shit out of you and they'll break your jaw before you finally get to the court system. So, you'll get more charges. I went to Westport, Connecticut, which is filthy a rich town, and they treat you better. So I went there and they didn't even want to arrest me. They kept telling me there's no warrant, we can't find it, blah 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 blah. And then I said, no, there is a warrant because it's been going on for 2 years. And they finally called Norwalk. Norwalk picked me up, and then guess it was that night I wound up in state prison. So they sent me to Bridgeport Corrections in Bridgeport, Connecticut, which if you look up on the internet, it's one of the most dangerous cities in all of Connecticut. It has the highest murder rate in the whole state of Connecticut. It's a ghetto, and it's all black people, and it's gangs of people, and there's shootings there, multiple shootings there, a day, a month, murders, rapes, whatever you want to call it, the highest crime rate in the whole state of Connecticut. So I was locked up there and I made other videos about how ridiculous it was. They put me in a dormitory with like 1,000 people. You didn't know if it was day or night owl, and that went on for the first month. And then after that, I got in a near fight with some black dude, and then all of a sudden they put me in segregation where you're laying in the room by yourself with the slot in the door and bugs all over the wall, and you're isolated, and I in the isolation unit. So I did that for a month, almost a month, and then they just talked to the shrinker guy, and the shrinker guy tell him all my past and my problems. So he sends me to Osborne prison. But that once he recommended it, that took like another 3 weeks before they finally got me at 2 o'clock in the morning. Took me to Osborne prison, and Osborne Corrections Institute, I think it's called, in Somers, Connecticut. They shipped me there at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it looks like the prison in the Wake video of Godsmack. The Wake video, it looks like that at night. It looks like a kind of like a castle at night. It's up on a hill with a big water tower by the prison, and it's the biggest prison in the state of Connecticut. It's the oldest prison in the state of Connecticut. It's the only prison that has a so-called hospital at it, but it's no hospital. You never get to see it. It's just that's like in the bottom of the prison. I never saw it. It's just a clinic you see, and that's a little tiny place. They don't do nothing for you. You basically have no health care at all, and or dental care, basically nothing. And I got shipped there, and I stayed there for like altogether. I was in prison for 6 months. In the middle of it all, in the middle or three-quarters of the way through it, then they sent me to a halfway house called Sierra House in in New Haven, Connecticut, which is over by Yale, but it's not in the rich section where Yale is. It's in the Yale's university, like Hillary Clinton and all them dirtbags went to. So it's not by Yale. It's in the ghetto part of New Haven, and it's not a house. It's a fucking six-story building, and they have all these rehab programs and halfway house programs, and it's all prisoners got out of prison there. and they sent me there, and it's a fucking run by black people, and half of them just come out of prison themselves that are running the program, and they're the most corrupt and prejudiced motherfuckers ever. The whole place is wackos. And then I had money sent to me, and they robbed the fucking money and wouldn't give me the money for like 2 weeks until I finally just said, you can go fuck yourself and all your ridiculous rules. And it's better in your ridiculous food because the food is fucking disgusting and such little helpings. I said, I'm fucking starving all the time. I said, you took my money so I can't buy nothing when we go for a walk outside. And to aggravate him, I kept wearing my prison outfit every time we went outside in the public to take walks with groups of people. So then finally, I just told him if I'm calling my lawyer. I got the public defender. She told me if I leave the program, I got 48 hours to turn myself in, or I get escape charges. Escape charges is 7 years. So I got turned myself in, or I went to I went. It's a long story when I got out of Sierra House when I left, but my low life. I tried to get a job back with my brother, my low life brother, Mike Lato in Norwalk, Connecticut. He's the biggest fucking crook in business ever. He's a fucking rat ass motherfucker. He goes both ways. He uses the criminals, then he rats the criminals out, and he fucking because all he's buddies with all the cops in Norwalk. So he fucking has me rearrested again because I knocked on his door to ask him for a job, and I ain't seen him in 10 years. So he has me rearrested. I'm walking down a city street and I get surrounded by like 18 cop cars. They take me back to Norwalk. Norwalk cops are trying to convince me because they can't arrest me for nothing. To go to the hospital because they call the ambulance. They're trying to say, "Do you want to hurt yourself?" They're trying to lock me up in the funny farm so they could have me there for 2 months and then they could give me escape charges when I get out because I miss court. And I said, "No, I'm not doing that. I ain't that stupid." So the hospital ambulance left. And then the guy goes, "Well, we got nothing to arrest you on." I go, "No shit, asshole. So now let me the fuck out of here." So I left, and then I walked to the courthouse, and then they put me back in state prison, and I didn't get any extra charges. And I stayed in prison altogether for 6 months fighting all these charges. And then, because I was unsentenced, because I pled not guilty, and I told them, "Fuck you and your corrupt court system. I'm going to trial. I don't give a fuck. It's misdemeanor charges." And any other person would have had a uh, out on bond, and they would just have a fine at the end. They would never spend a day even in a fucking jail in a fucking police station. I said, "I'm in state prison for 6 months because you gave me a $10,000 cash bond." Just fucking totally ridiculous. Because there's people I read in the newspaper in Norwalk or online that fucking robbed the car and run from the police and had a major police chase with the police, tried to assault the police, and they let him out on a fucking bond of like $5,000. They're giving me a fucking $10,000 cash bond because I'm homeless and they're harassing me and they give me a fucking breach of peace charge. It's a fucking misdemeanor, anyways. It's fucking ridiculous. So, uh, when you get a cash bond, you can't get out. If you already did a bond and skipped that bond, you get a cash bond, you're fucked. You ain't gonna get out unless you got the money. So I just fucking stayed there. I stayed in prison for 6 months. They take you back and forth to court while you're in prison about 18 times. And from Osborne Prison, that's like a 2.5 hour ride. But the prison bus and van stops at all these different prisons and gets more prisoners, lets prisoners off. And every time they take you out of the van like about 5 times and put you in a bullpen at all these different prisons with all these real major criminals that are real dangerous. They put you in there with them. The real dangerous ones have an orange jumpsuit on, which means they're really, really dangerous, even in prison. And they put you in the bullpens with like 50 people with those people in it. And uh, this goes on. It takes 18 hours to go to court to where I was going to court on the other side of the state. 18 hours from the time you leave at 3 o'clock in the morning, your jail cell, your prison cell at state prison, until you get back to your prison cell from all these transfers and prisons and the bullpens and all these different fucking trips you took in all different prison vehicles and this and that. 18 hours every trip I took to Norwalk or to Bantam or to Torrington to go to court. So this went on and on and on. And then finally, after 6 months, I made a plea deal because I was going to lose my truck driver CDL license. I had like when I got out, I basically had like 2 weeks to renew it because of my age. So if I didn't renew it, then I would have lost my truck driver's license. Other than that, I would have stayed in court and keep fighting it. So I took one. They dropped. I had 4 or 5 misdemeanor breach of peace charges. Two of them said I failed to appear in court. So what they did is they dropped all my charges, both court. I had Torrington Court, which is in Tolland County or whatever county, and in Fairfield County, I had Norwalk, and they dropped all my charges after I did 6 months in state prison, and they only gave me one charge of failure to appear misdemeanor. So that's now on my record, a misdemeanor failure to appear. And it doesn't hold me up from getting any jobs or anything. And then the public defender gave me a pamphlet to fill out for it annuls what you were arrested for. It's I don't know, remember what you call it. I put it online, whatever it is. It's like appealing to the court. It takes 5 years, and then they annul your arrest. They don't give you no money for it unless you sue them, but they give you a statement saying on the list that you should never be arrested, and your arrests don't count. It's something like that. I forget what it's called. I have to look up the pamphlet and all my records. I did take pictures of it and posted on Google Plus the pamphlet. And it says you got to be a resident, stay a resident in Connecticut for like a year. And there ain't no way I would stay in Connecticut when I got out of prison because they'll just keep arresting you for absolutely nothing. So I instantly moved to Florida. I registered as a voter, which you're not allowed to do if you're a felon. I registered as a voter as a Republican. So fuck all the Democrats. Fuck you low life, bleeding heart motherfuckers like my family is and my fucking mother and everybody else. All you bleeding heart, fucking spick loving, wetback loving fucking Democrats. And I registered as a full blown Republican, which I never thought I would do, but I did. And I think Donald Trump's doing an awesome job. He's still a fucking crook like all the rest of them. Even when I went to do my taxes, and I found out now you can't write nothing off because of Donald Trump. You can't write anything off. Any things that cost me like for work shoes for work or anything, can't write nothing off because of Donald Trump. He changed all the tax laws and fucked over the working guy, the little guy again. He's a fucking crook too, like all the rest of them. But if you had to take out all the crooks, who's the least of the crooks? I would say Donald Trump is the least of all the fucking crooks because they all got their hands out to fuck over the little guy. But anyways, I don't recommend nobody live in the state of Connecticut. It's gridlock traffic. You can't go nowhere. They overpopulated the place. And it's all geared for the rich people. The poor people, they'll step on you, spit on you. They hope you kill yourself. That's what it's like. You're going to have no pussy at all. The women are the most stuck up people on the face of the planet. If you're a working stiff, they won't even talk to you. They look at you like they might as well spit on you. That's how they treat you. And they like the wetbacks better than you. The wetbacks have get pussy. Even the white women like the wetbacks. And you're not even going to get a date. If you do, you're going to. You're, if you do if you ever had a girlfriend in Connecticut, don't worry, it ain't gonna last long because they're all gold diggers, and she'll be cheating on you with the boss, the coworker, the guy down the street, whoever got the most money. That's all the women want in Connecticut. Whoever got money in a big house and the nicest car. That's all Connecticut bitches want. So you'll be basically pussyless. You'll have no apartment. The apartment's only for rich people. You gotta have credit check, and you gotta have been at the same job for 5 years. You gotta make like $100,000 a year to afford a place to live because the rents there cost about $2,100 a month. You might as well be making a mortgage payment on a house for that. And if you had a house in Connecticut, you're gonna pay tax on it about $8,000 to $12,000 a year on your vehicle. It ain't like Florida where you only pay tax when you buy it. No, in Connecticut you gotta pay tax on your vehicle every fucking year. So if you buy a brand new vehicle, you're gonna pay about 5,000 in tax, and then you're gonna pay like every other year. It's gonna go down a little bit. You're gonna pay 4,800, 4,700, 4,400 as the years go by. It's that fucking ridiculous. So I spit on the state of Connecticut. I think it's the most corrupt state in the whole union, and good luck for you fucking low life scumbags that live there. I think you could all rot if Putin ever bombed us with a nuclear weapon. I hope that the thing would hit in Connecticut and just wipe them people out off the face of the planet. Because they're the biggest bunch of backstabbing lowlifes in the fucking world. Anybody you meet is a backstabbing lowlife. Any company you go to try to work, they won't pay you shit. They pay nothing because all the wetbacks destroyed the whole economy for any working class person because they work for nothing. They'll work for $10 an hour or $5 an hour, whatever, and all the companies hire them. That's it. They don't hire no white people. So good luck with the state of Connecticut. I hope you people go fuck yourself and you fucking rot in the state of Connecticut. The court system is prejudiced and racist and corrupt, and the prison system is as well. The most dangerous people you meet in prison aren't as dangerous as the prison guards. The prison guards will fucking kill you because they have no record of it. The prison guards will get away with it because the prison and the police unions are so powerful. I just read in the paper in the internet yesterday that the municipalities, which means the cities, are now mad because they fired 12 corrupt cops for numerous reasons, and then the police union made them hire them back because they said arbitration takes hundreds of thousands of dollars to fight it to keep the cops fired. So the towns give up because they don't have as much money as the police union and the prison guard union, so they hire them back. So that's how corrupt the police are in the state of Connecticut. They can't even fire them. There was one guy was took his car and drove into a garbage truck because he's drinking coffee, not paying attention. They fired him, and then they had to hire him back. And you and me did that. We'd be fired down the road. Nope, they hired the cop back $70,000 a year plus all his back pay. It's fucking ridiculous. So good luck on the state of Connecticut. It's a fucking police state. The prison guards, half of them have a more of a criminal record than the people that are in the prison. That's how fucking ridiculous it is. So if you want to be assaulted and be treated like some piece of shit motherfucker, go live in the state of Connecticut. Good luck. Fuck them all. Hope they rot.